What's up, you guys? Welcome back. Today I'm super excited because there is a new drugstore foundation in town. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of new drugstore foundations launching very soon as we move into January and the new year. I feel like all the drugstore brands come out with all their new stuff now. But this one I am really excited about. This is the Maybelline Dream Radiant Liquid. So it's supposed to be a hydrating foundation. You guys know I have dry skin, so I'm all about that hydrating foundation life. And this is apparently a dupe for the Fenty Hydrating Foundation, which I really like this foundation, so I'm very interested to see if this is actually a dupe or not. So what I figured we would do today is put them to the test against each other. So I'm gonna do half my face with the Fenty foundation and the other half of my face with the Maybelline foundation, and we're gonna see, is the Maybelline foundation good? Is it actually a dupe for Fenty? Does it last? Like, we're gonna check all of that out today. So I'm gonna apply it now and show you guys my initial thoughts and first impressions and stuff, and then I will wear it throughout the whole day and do check-ins for you guys to let you know how it's wearing on my skin, and then we'll see what it looks like at the end of the night. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel if you have not already, and click the little bell right next to the subscribe button so you can be notified of all of my future uploads. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so I've already prepped my skin with primer. I just used the hydrating one from CoverGirl. I do want to read you guys the claims on both of the products. Alright, so first up for the Dream Radiant Liquid from Maybelline, right from their website, it says this is supposed to be lightweight, medium coverage, provide up to 12 hours of hydration, and give a radiant finish to the skin. It's retailing for about $10.99 most places, and there are 20 shades in this foundation. That is definitely one downside to this foundation, is the shade range really isn't that great. I would have hoped for better from Maybelline. 20 shades might seem like a lot, but I do think that they needed a few more shades added in there. So that is definitely one downside right off the bat to this foundation, is it's definitely not the most expansive shade range. So I definitely wanted to mention that to you guys, because we know Miss Rihanna with her Fenty line has like a billion different shades, which is awesome. And she always has really big shade ranges, which I do really like. I do want to read you guys the claims on this, just if you've never tried it, so you know, like, when we're comparing them. This is supposed to be a hydrating and natural finish foundation that is a medium coverage and long lasting. So we're gonna put them to the test. Let's see how many shades are in this one, because there's a lot. It looks like on Sephora's website there are currently 54 shades in this foundation, so much bigger shade range, and it is currently retailing for $35. So the shade I have in the Fenty foundation is 235. This is my normal shade. I have a couple of the Dream Radiant liquids because I was unsure on shade. I think I'm gonna go in with 40 first. They look pretty close because obviously we're going to do half and half, so I want the shades to be similar, but I do have a couple other shades if need be, because 40 might be a little too light. So let's go in with 40 first and see. We're going to go in with the Dream Radiant Liquid first. So this does have a pump top, which is great. I actually prefer the packaging on this foundation than I do on the Fenty. This is like the squeezy bottle. It does have a pump, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of like the squeezy bottle packaging on foundation, so I actually prefer the bottle like this. I mean, but that's just like a personal preference. So let's go in and try this out. I'm going to put the Maybelline on this side of my face. There is a one pump. Looks like the shade should actually be fine. And then I'm just adding like a little half pump of foundation because I don't really know how much I need. All right, we're gonna go in and blend with a beauty sponge now and see. It actually feels pretty cooling. Definitely has that chemically kind of scent that a lot of drugstore foundations have, but that's okay. This does have hyaluronic acid in it, which is nice, which I don't believe the Fenty one does. The Fenty one I think has grapeseed oil. That's what the Fenty foundation uses to keep it hydrating throughout the day, where this one has hyaluronic acid, which I am a big fan of hyaluronic acid, so I was happy to see that. It's blending into my face very flawlessly, so I can't complain about that. I feel like the nose is always the hardest part to do the half and half on. I do have some breakouts around my mouth right now where this is covering them. It's not the fullest of coverage. I mean, you could still see them, so I will probably go in and spot conceal those on this side, just because, again, this is definitely more medium coverage, not full. But it's blending into my skin really nicely, so I do actually really like that. It looks like my skin, but better. And it's not overly glowy. Like, this one says it's a radiant finish, but I don't know. I don't even really see all that, like, dewy luminosity to it. So if you have oily skin, I wouldn't be scared of it. I would consider it more a natural finish, which is what Fenty considers theirs to be. Because radiant to me means that it's gonna be more dewy than like a natural finish is, where this one I definitely don't get like super dewy vibes from. All right, so this is the Maybelline foundation all blended out. I think it looks really nice. It feels very comfortable on my skin upon first application, so obviously we'll see how it feels throughout the day and also how it lasts. But initial thoughts is that I actually think it's really nice. So I'm gonna go in with the Fenty foundation on the other side. This is not a first impression, obviously. I've tried this many times, but I'm just gonna dot this on my face. This one is a little bit more yellowy toned, but it's the one that I have, so that's what we're using. Oh, you know what? I should get a different sponge. Oh goodness. Okay. Hang on. All right, we're back. Grabbed a new sponge. Hopefully this foundation didn't like dry on my face. No. Okay. Very nice, very nice. Oh, I love the scent the Fenty foundation has. It's much more pleasant than the Maybelline one. I'm not sure that that warrants the big price difference in between those two. Like, I wouldn't just buy the Fenty one because it smells so much better. You can definitely see the shade is very different on them, but don't worry, we're gonna make it work. But the Fenty one smells very pleasant. I love that Fenty smell. It's kind of like soft baby powder or something, where the Maybelline one is definitely more chemical smelling. All right, so you can definitely tell there's a significant difference in the shades. The Maybelline one actually might even match me a little bit better than the Fenty one does, but this was the Fenty foundation that I was using in the summer, so I was a little bit tanner, but I just don't have a different shade in it. And once I do concealer and everything, honestly, I probably won't even be able to tell the difference. And I'm still gonna wear them both like this all day, so it's fine. But you can absolutely tell that there is much more coverage with the Fenty foundation than there is with the Maybelline one. I almost wanna go in with a little bit more of the Maybelline one and see if I can build up the coverage to be like the Fenty one, because this is definitely giving me a much better coverage. So I'm gonna jump back in with the Maybelline foundation, and I might even jump in with a slightly darker shade this time and use this maybe to make them match a little bit better, because when I go in with my concealer, it kind of lightens up my whole face, so this might end up looking too light. And I'll add another pump to my face here. Go back in with that other blender and see if we can build up the coverage on the Maybelline one. Oh yeah, literally the scents are night and day. That 100%. Like, the Fenty one smells beautiful and this one does not. So if scents are important to you, get the Fenty one. All right, that actually did help the foundations become a little bit closer in shade. And that did build up a little bit more coverage, but I would still say the Fenty side looks fuller coverage than this side does. So I'm definitely interested to see how these last throughout the day. And I will say the Fenty one does look to me to be more hydrating than the Maybelline one does, which is kind of weird because the Maybelline one said it's a radiant finish, which would make you think that this was gonna be the more like glowy looking side, where I feel like the Fenty one is a little bit more glowy looking, although neither are overly dewy or greasy, so I think either would work if you have oily skin. Like, I have dry skin, so I like hydrating foundations, but I know people that have oily skin a lot of times avoid them. I don't think either of these is like a must avoid if you have oily skin. They're not gonna make you like this grease ball. All right, so that's basically that. Upon initial application, I probably like the Fenty one a little bit better just because I like a little bit more coverage. But you can definitely build up the Maybelline one. When I built it up with that second layer, it's definitely giving me a fuller coverage. So they do work similarly. I'm definitely interested to see how they last throughout the day. I'm gonna be doing on the rest of my face the exact same products on both sides so that they have equal chances. I'll go in right now and just do my concealer to show you guys. I'm gonna go in with Light Neutral from Tarte. This is their Shape Tape underneath my eyes, just so you guys can see the other products that I use on my face at least. And then I will, of course, keep you guys updated like I said. I'm just gonna blend that all out. And if you're interested in the second shade that I went in with the Maybelline, it was, where is it? It was shade 60, which ended up probably looking a bit better and closer matched to my neck. I love this concealer, it is the best. To set my under eyes, I'm just gonna jump in with Wet n Wild Reserve Your Cabana, just to set everything down and in place. And then to set all of my face, I'm gonna go in with the CoverGirl True Blends Mineral Powder in the shade Medium. Whenever I try new foundations, I always go with powders that I know how they work and that I'm used to, so then I can tell, like, if the foundation is being weird, I don't wanna try like a new powder, you know what I mean? So I love this powder, I use it all the time. So I'm gonna go in and set both sides with this. Alrighty, so everything is set and in place. I will probably go and do my eyes like a little bit later in the day. So the next time you see me, I'll probably have my eye makeup done. I am not gonna be using a setting spray today though. I'm gonna let these foundations ride it out on their own and we'll see how they last. It is just about 11 a.m. now, it's 10:55. So I'm gonna go on throughout my day and then check in with you guys periodically. But I'll definitely wear it for like at least 10 or 12 hours so you guys can get a full day wear test for it. So I will see you guys soon. What's up, you guys? So it is just about 4:45. I wanted to pop on here and do a little check-in to let you know how the foundations are lasting, or really more so like the Maybelline foundation. I already know I like the Fenty foundation and that it lasts good on my skin, but I want to see how they last like in comparison and if they're dupes, obviously. So I will just pan to show you guys. So this is the Maybelline side versus the Fenty side. So you can see both sides. Both are lasting really well. I'm pretty impressed. I've been in the house all day just doing stuff, and I feel like the Maybelline one is, you know, lasting really well on my skin. It doesn't look to be fading or anything or like coming off in patches or anything, so that is really nice. I definitely have noticed, I think the Fenty side settles less into fine lines. Like you can see like around my smile lines, the Maybelline side definitely settled in a bit more than the Fenty, and also in my forehead. On the Fenty side looks pretty good, a little bit more kind of settling into fine lines on the Maybelline side. So that is the biggest difference that I see as of right now. I definitely see the Maybelline side kind of settling into those fine lines a little bit more than I'd like, but it doesn't look terrible or anything at all. So I'm gonna continue on wearing it throughout the day. I'm interested to see what it looks like later on tonight. So yeah, I will see you guys later on tonight for our final check-in. What's up, you guys? So it is 10:27 p.m. right now. So I have been wearing this foundation for just about 12 hours, and I have not touched up my face at all throughout the day. Obviously, you guys see that I did my eye makeup and stuff, but I didn't repowder my face, apply anything else to my face. I have not done anything to it at all. And I think both of the foundations actually lasted like very, very well on my skin. So I am very impressed with that. Overall now, I kind of have the same opinions on the Maybelline foundation as I did with my earlier check-in. It still looks really, really nice on my skin. It lasted really well. It's not coming off and looking patchy or anything, as well as the Fenty side still lasted really well and everything looks really good still. But on the Maybelline side, you can definitely see the foundation did settle into fine lines and kind of emphasize my pores and texture a little bit more than on the Fenty side. I'm gonna zoom you guys all the way in so you can really see. All right, we are up close and personal for you guys to really see. So this is the Maybelline side. Please don't mind the blemishes around my mouth. You can see those are poking through. So it didn't really hold its coverage right there, but obviously I've been eating and stuff throughout the day. I had lipstick and stuff on that came off. So I'm not really that concerned about that. I feel like if the blemish was somewhere else on my face, it would be less noticeable. But the main areas you can see the settling is right on my forehead there and then right in my smile line area. The Fenty one does settle slightly. You can see it a little bit in my smile lines. You can also see it a little bit in my forehead, but it's definitely more prominent on the Maybelline side. And that could partially have to do with the fact that I needed to use more of the Maybelline foundation to match the coverage of the Fenty foundation, because a lot of times the more foundation you use, the more prone it is to kind of settle into fine lines and crease and crack like that. So that could definitely have something to do with it, the fact that I had to actually use more product on the Maybelline side. So overall, I don't think that the Maybelline foundation is bad at all. I think it lasted really well on my skin throughout the day. It still looks really nice. It's not drying on my skin. It feels very comfortable. So I definitely do like that. It kind of looks like your skin, but better. I would have loved to see it have a little bit more coverage. I would definitely say it's more so on the lighter medium side than medium to full. Like definitely like light to medium and then can be built up to give you a little more coverage. I personally would prefer it to be a little bit more, but there are definitely other Maybelline foundations that are more full coverage than this one. But overall, I do think it is a nice foundation. I honestly feel like if you look at my face like this and you guys didn't know that I put two different foundations on either side, you wouldn't really be able to tell the difference. So I do think you could definitely call it a dupe for the Fenty foundation. They do work very similarly, but the Fenty foundation is going to look a bit smoother on the skin and it's also going to provide you with more coverage. So I personally do like the Fenty foundation better, but it is obviously at a much higher price point, so it should work better. So I would say that the Maybelline one is a dupe. I do think the Fenty one works better, but for the price difference, I think this is a great option as well. And like I said, I feel like if I just told somebody like, does it look like I'm wearing two different foundations on either side of my face, they would probably say no. Since I know I'm wearing two different foundations, I can pick up on little things like one side settling into fine lines more than the other and stuff like that. But overall, they are both really nice foundations. I think I will continue to use both of them. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's little comparison video. Give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye!